Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Generations, Ironheart and Iron Man, and this particular title is called The Irons, and I want to thank Brian Michael Bendis for that, because, yeah, just all these ridiculously long titles, unnecessary. So, The Irons, I'm digging it, I love it, thank you. I'll take that as a personal gesture. Okay, now, Riri, unlike everybody else who's so far in Generations, they've all gone back into the past, she's gone into the future. That's right. That's right. So, digging it. We knew this about a week and a half in advance. She goes in the future. She meets the Sorcerer Supreme, Tony Stark. That's right. You remember you actually got to see a little tiny bit of that over in, I think that was Invincible Iron Man? No, yeah, that was the Invincible Iron Man comic, I'm pretty sure. Either way, whatever it was either that or Doctor Doom's infamous Iron Man title. I don't remember, it was just a couple months ago, but whatever. Anyway, Doctor Doom had actually seen Sorcerer Supreme Tony, and something happened. We don't know what happened, but what we do know is that we finally get to see what the heck was up with that. So, good. It's about damn time. It's seriously about damn time. So, eventually we're going to see what Tony and Doom did. I'm really genuinely looking forward to that. But right now, she goes in the future. She sees a bunch of things. She's got a whole bunch of ideas of what can actually be, which is cool, man. That's actually one of the biggest things. Knowing how to do something doesn't mean you necessarily have the creativity to pull something completely random out of the hat. That's why technology always increases at such a slow pace, that and money. But here, Riri actually gets a good glimpse of what the future looks like. Now, I love this concept of the future. I love how she kept on mentioning how the air tastes different. It tastes good. It tastes invigorating. We don't know what necessarily that was. Maybe it was actually the plants. Maybe it was just the idea that that's what air actually tastes like instead of all the pollutants. I mean, it was Chicago, so, you know, I used to live pretty close to frickin' New York, so I know the deal. Anyway, so this comic, guys, I think that besides the fact that the story was good, and it looks like it's actually going to lead to something, and we get to see a different Tony Stark, but not necessarily completely different. Yeah, he was a Sorcerer Supreme, but he was still majorly into the tech, and I think you guys know by now, I don't really like Tony Stark. I've been reading him since seriously, like since his inception, and he was never necessarily the hero type. He always had that bad guy thing, you know, the monkey on his back, the demon alcohol. Sorry, Ozzy Osbourne reference. But man, always had something bad going on with him. Always just, you know, my way or my way. He was an extremist. He didn't give two craps what you thought. His idea of the future, and that's that. Don't get in his way. He will repulsor blast you. In fact, the coolest I ever liked him, I think for the most part, was the superior Iron Man. Why? Because that's who Tony's nature is. Here, this was different, and I actually liked this version of Tony also. I like the idea that he said, I'm getting tired. I grew out of being punched in the face. Yeah, I could imagine that. So I left the martial arts for one of the exact same reasons. Gets annoying after a while. Gets old. Okay, so the main thing here is that I see the layouts, okay? I know, like, it's a comic book and you're really looking for the art and you're looking for the writing. Well, the layouts of this comic, I think, were the most grand part here. I mean, you look at just the way that the word bubbles went, how you'd actually be reading up in certain parts. Yeah, I've seen that in comics before. You know, the layout where you've got several beams striking out from a bubble, so you can actually see the direction that you're supposed to be reading, and it feels very natural, very organic, and it just looks beautiful, and the flow, like almost a perfect symmetry. Yeah, I've seen that before too. And there's lots of things that I've seen before, but being able to see it all in this one book like this, yeah, I've seen that too, but you just don't see it enough. Guys, the layout, for me, the layout of this book is just simply gorgeous. Love how they pulled it off. The art itself was great. There's the one part where you get to see all the way into Riri's eyes. One of her eyes, you actually get to see the divot closest to the nose, and just, wow. Like, the detail was amazing. You see all the shine in her eyes, the eyelashes, I'm like fawning over what should be pretty simple stuff that you can see in a photograph, right? But they made this into a painted photograph. That's the way that I'm going to describe this. Yeah, you might not like the art. It's up to you. But me, that's what actually stuck out for me. I love the art and the layout of this. It was great. The story itself, we'll see exactly where it goes. I could see that they could be going in certain directions. Will they actually do those directions? Not sure. We'll see. In the meantime, guys, I'm going to give this comic an A-. This was a great comic. I loved seeing Riri she was flabbergasted at the future, at everything there. And she just wants to absorb everything. And Tony, even though he's telling her, no, don't do this. You can't know all this stuff. He was still having fun with it. And he acknowledged, yeah, back in the day, when I was your age, I would have absolutely done the exact same thing. And yeah, who wouldn't have? Who would have been trying to pickpocket something, right? Just take something and pocket it, walk home with it. Got something from the future. Souvenir, right? This was good stuff. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.